Excellent. We are live on this beautiful sunny Friday with no guy because we're apparently an hour behind, at least from the daylight savings change. Welcome for those who are here. We will start, and for those watching the recording, you can skip like 3, 4 minutes ahead, and then we'll get started. We're just going to wait for some people to come in, and then we'll go from there. Let's let the world know. And for those who are in here, let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. Let's bring up this chart. Sweet. For those who are in here, let me know if you can hear me. Put it in the chat and if you can see my screen as well. And let me hide these levels. Welcome, Aiden. Welcome, Keb. Mario, welcome. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see my screen.
I know you was talking, but I couldn't hear you.
You said you can't hear me?
No, you sound very muffled.
Interesting. Can you hear me better now or worse?
No, you don't sound clear at all.
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, it sounds like you're far away or something like that. It doesn't sound like a normal, like you normally sound.
Let's see. Oh, that's why. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still kind of low, but yeah, I can hear you. It's more clear, but you're just low.
Hold on. Can you hear me better now?
Just turn up the volume.
Yeah, I have the volume up. Still
Yeah,
low?
I heard after you said that. Now I heard you. But then,
Yeah, that was weird. It went to like my camera's audio instead of my mic's audio. Sweet. All right, let's get this show on the road. Let's make sure All right, my screen's up. Cool. All right, welcome everybody. This is the trade recap or community trade recap anyway. March 14, 2025. Happy Pi Day. My name is Advent, not a financial advisor, all that good stuff. Trading is risky. Do your research before because you can lose money. Anyway, all of this we go over is just for educational purposes only. For those who are new here, pretty much is going over trades, going over my trades, your trades, giving you feedback so we can all improve and grow together. So, pretty chill week this week. Let me actually bring up my journal. Yeah, so pretty chill week this week for myself. Only took one trade today. I wasn't really in the mood to take more. Or maybe not in the mood, but since they switched that hour, it's kind of messed up my sleeping a little bit. Let's bring up the calendar. Yeah, pretty much one red day on Monday, and then green the rest of the days. Took one trade yesterday, one trade today, and 2 or 3 trades on Tuesday and Wednesday. And that's pretty much it. Didn't do anything too crazy. Today was a pretty chill and quick day as well. We had a nice pump in the morning. All I did was take the 15-minute orb on MES for those who trade futures. Pretty straightforward. Basically, just took the initial break on the 15-minute break with regular hours on, not extended, by the way. Let's fix this up real quick. Let's zoom in a little bit. So pretty much just took this off at a 1-to-1 risk reward because I did not want to spend much time on the charts. Even though we were live trading earlier today, I just waited for some other stuff afterwards. But other than this trade, basically all I did, nice 12. And with slippage, I got like 12 points even. But other than that, once I hit that, I took the whole position off and then just relaxed. And whoever was still in longs, rest in peace, because that news came out and obliterated all the longs in the beginning of the day, only to have it reverse and TTO back up. Market's funny like that sometimes. But yeah, other than that, pretty chill. Didn't really see anything else for me to take, so I kind of just called it there. How about you guys? What did you guys take?
Can I ask you, where do you enter in at when you do that?
It's just like a regular strat trade, like just put a stop order a tick above and then just let it trigger you in. So right at the top of the candle.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I was just trying to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm so used to doing the retest. I rarely ever do the regular order.
Yeah, the retest, because of the current volatility, it may not be the absolute best. At least not right now. I haven't been having proper success with it. So with the VIX being pretty high, and especially when Trump speaks, I don't take that setup, even if it sets up perfectly, because it always loses. So I'm waiting until the VIX comes back under 20 to take that retest again, because the volatility being too high, it ends up not working out efficiently. Probably the last 8 to 9 that I've taken, only 1 or 2 of them have worked out.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that same thing also.
Mm-hmm. And also, yep. Somebody mentioned that we may want to like increase the stop loss that we generally use. Granted, for that specific setup, I usually use like 2 YM contracts because the risk is fixed. I can use like micros to manage it better, but I rather just avoid it completely until the volatility goes down because to me it's not really worth it. And the stop version seems to be working pretty well with the volatility, so it's a win-win. We still have some
Yeah, I
backups.
kind of started doing like almost like the 5 minute retest version of the org.
Hmm.
And like, but any retest version with the 15 minutes wasn't working, so I did it with the 5 minute retest for NQ. But today, one of my trades was I didn't take it this morning because I didn't like how the candle was set up. But once I seen that shooter at the top on the 5 minute,
Let me bring up M&Q so we can see it together. Shooter on the 5 minute.
right there, or hammer, whatever you want to call it, right there at the top, I seen where that candle engulfed it.
So this one right here,
No. At the beginning of the day.
a shooter, or you mean this hammer right here,
Yeah, but go over it 2 more.
like over here?
No, the other way.
Oh, you mean to the right side?
Yeah. So I seen that set. I seen that, and I seen where that 2 bar started to engulf it, hit real heavy. So I seen where sellers was stepping in. So as soon as it closed, as soon as it passed that two, made it 2 bar, then I got into it, and that's when I got into it, and he was like, "Yeah, news coming out in like 1 minute." I was like, "Dang!" So I just moved my stop loss real tight. Luckily, I should have just got out of it, but luckily it did hit my take profit because that 10 o'clock candle. But yeah, that was the setup that I seen. I forgot that it was news. So when I got into it, like 5 minutes later, it was like, "Yeah, we have news in like a minute." I'm like, "What the heck?" So I just moved my stop loss real tight just in case it went up.
You're a brave man.
Yeah.
I'm like, luckily it spiked in your favor.
Yeah, I should have had make sure that that's one thing I gotta make sure I do. I knew it was news this morning, but instead of I don't know, I seen that and I got it without like looking at the time first. That's what I should have did. Was look at the time before I got into that trade. I just seen the setup and was like, okay, I'm getting into it. But yeah,
Definitely. Hey, add it to your journal and make it like a reminder on your phone. Always check for news before you get on. That way you're clear. Like even though like every time I'm doing the can you even see this? Probably can't. Every time I'm doing, probably the people on YouTube can see it. Every time I'm like preparing, do my checklist in the morning. If I don't remember every single news event by memory, I'll go back and then I'll check off that I know what news events are coming out, just so I can keep that habit. Because you do not want to be on the wrong side of a bad trade.
yeah, that's how I was feeling. I was like, man, I should get out. Which I should have I got out. Even though it went my way, I don't think that was a good trade because it could have went the opposite with my max. So
Definitely. Hey, good trade nonetheless. For those on YouTube, you can put your trades in the chat. Just give me as much information as you can so I can properly review the trade with you. And anybody else who has trades you want me to look at, let me know. Forex, crypto, options, futures, doesn't matter. You can put it in there. Keb forgot about news? Oh, you're going to get a voice note from me later.
Yeah, man. So I took some long stay on MSTR.
MSTR.
When I was charting last night, I noticed that it had a bunch of confluences to the upside. I think on the con on the 4 day, it was a 2-on-2 up. So I got in relatively later because there was some news going to happen at 10 a.m. And then I noticed that I just didn't want to be on the wrong side of it, but I did get in and they would be pretty successful. But this was something that I've been struggling with as of late is I'm seeing profit and I'm taking profit and I'm getting out and I'm noticing that I'm leaving a lot of money on the table and it's been kind of going against me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to get a little bit better at that. And I think I mentioned it in the group earlier that I'm somewhat over leveraging to try to make back profits that I lost before. But today was a better day. But as you can see, MSTR kind of ran today from I think 265 all the way to 297. I think it reached.
Yeah, definitely a crazy run today. That was what opened up at 274-ish. Yeah, about a 24-ish gain on the day. Really nice.
And I always try to compare because obviously, they Bitcoin mining. So I try to see what Bitcoin is doing in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
And since I seen Bitcoin had a lot of upside today, I was like, all right, I think I feel comfortable in terms of getting into MSTR today. So.
Yeah, definitely. Bitcoin is always a good thing to look at because if Bitcoin's pumping, then they're probably going to follow it. Do you usually get?
The only trade I took that I just kind of took some longs. I had one runner and it went all the way to 297, and then I just got out right before market closed. But
Nice. That's the way to do it. Yeah, always leave a runner if you can, and then just try to maximize it. That way you can squeeze as much as you can out of the trade. But yeah, over leveraging, definitely let's not do that part. But holding, runners and stuff like that to maximize the trade, absolutely.
I'm trying to learn how to set up basically a stop order. So if I get a certain percentage, make it so that hey, it'll sell it at a certain point once I reach that percentage. But then I feel like all right, it may pull back some, but then continue to run. So again, I think I'm just in my head a lot of times when it comes to trading because I hate to lose, but yeah, I'm just trying to find that balance.
I would say definitely you can work on the losing part or the losing, like maybe what it means to you as a person, and then kind of like try to, what's the word? Kind of develop like the trader side, as we spoke before, where the trader understands that losing is part of the process and it is what it is. Like I ended red on Monday. I took it gracefully, right? Of course, it takes time to be okay with losses because, of course, we're all human. We don't like to lose, perfectly normal, especially depending how we may be outside of trading, right? Like I know some of your background, but I'll just keep it on me for now. Um, let's say in some of the positions I've been at before, winning is a good thing, right? Or for any nerds that may be in here who play games, I was really competitive when I was younger, and I definitely did not like losing. So that will come out in my trading sometimes, right? But it's like, me as a person doesn't like losing, but as a trader, I have to kind of like work on that where it's like understanding that losing is going to happen no matter what. Like you can't control if you win or lose. You can only control yourself. And I'm not sure if you were in there. I think Wednesday when we did the weekly performance review, but we were talking about.
Yeah.
You were there?
Yeah, for a little bit, but not too much because I had something with the daughter. But yeah, I was there for a bit.
Gotcha. I think it was towards the end when we spoke about it, where Kia asked me like how to kind of get better at taking losers. For me, in my head, what really helps me, like not really care too much after the fact, I just go through the loss. I go through the loss like during the trade and even before the trade and kind of just go through that whole process in my head. That way, if it actually does lose, I kind of already went through that whole process in my head as opposed to being like, yeah, this trade is going to win and then it loses. Whereas, like if I already went through the like if I simulated the loss in my head already, and when it actually happens, it's like, all right, cool. I kind of already knew this was going to happen in a sense, right? And if it does win, hey, that's great. But for me, definitely like just going through the loss before the trade and even during it works out. Like I just expect to lose every trade. That way, when it actually does happen, it's less of like an emotional event in my head or physically or what have you. So that definitely helps me a lot. And of course, as I mentioned, just remember losses are inevitable. If it's like a loss that was caused by you, then those I'll probably be more upset at. But if it's like if you took your setup as you always do, it is what it is. You can't control that. That's just the market.
That makes sense. I'm actually going to do that moving forward. I'm going to write that down in the journal and really just like kind of play the laws out, like you said already. Because then, yeah, it won't bother me as much, understanding that it's inevitable that you are going to lose. Then also at the same time, you go through that emotion prior to the actual trade, just not going to bother you as much. So it makes
hmm
sense.
It's like the counter, like with the manifestation people. Nothing against them because I'm one of them too. But it's like when they're like manifest the positivity in your life and this and this and that. It's like I'm manifesting the loss to just make it less of a burden in my head when if it does happen. Now I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Moving on. Look for the next trade.
Makes sense.
But yeah, definitely we'll talk next week and we'll see where you're at with that.
Yeah, I can say that after having that talk on Wednesday, that was really, really helpful for me because I wouldn't say I micromanage my trades, but I can say that like I've noticed where like I can be in the trade and it's more so of like my stop loss is real, real, real tight because it's like, okay, well, if I get inside this trade, then it should not go past like this previous candle. On a certain time frame, and if it does, then this trade is probably not gonna come my way.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, I'm like, okay, that helps me to understand. Okay, well, if I do walk away, it kind of helps me. If I walk away, if it's a bad trade, then that's what I'm already thinking. That is normal. So when I do come back and it is, then I'm not so mad at myself. I'm like, damn, well, I could have sat there and I might have could have stopped it before, whatever the case. So I definitely do think that helps a lot. So thanks for that.
Absolutely. I got that from The Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard. I think his last name Hogard or Hugard, one of those two. I'm like, this is actually genius. Let me do this, which has helped me even better to not really be too caring about losses. But yeah, good stuff. Gus, you took a SPY put at the end of the day. What strike price and what was the setup? And what time frame so I can kind of follow along with your idea. 558, he got into SPY puts. If it was near the end of the day, 558.30. The market hit that in the beginning of the day. Unless I'm missing something. Gotcha. Cool. There we go. Was it before the news came out or was it after the news came out? What time did you get into the trade and what was your targets and what was your stop loss? I'm going to imagine that you're Central Time. I'm on the East Coast, so 8:40 doesn't really make sense to my brain. So he got in around here. PST. 11:40. Oh, you got in later on. You got in over here. Well, the numbers are still off. So if you got in around 11, or that's an hour behind, or 2 hours behind for me. So you got in, I guess, 10:40 my time. Was this a loss? because it looks like price is kind of spiked up from there. And you were targeting 555 through 556. So let's say the first target would have been here. What was the idea behind the trade, and what time frame were you looking at? Welcome for those who are coming in. Put your trades in the chat so I can review them. And if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up or the like button. For those on YouTube, you were on the 5 minute and the 2 minute, and you were aiming for it to bounce off one of my fibs. Let's see. Where did you draw your fibs so I can follow along? Or I guess reject off one of your fibs rather. Was it a fib that you drew like using the time frames from today or from a different day? From Wednesday? Gotcha. And in your case, besides the fibs, was there any other piece of confluence, or was that kind of the only thing that happened there? And another question on top of that. So, first question, besides the fibs, were there any other piece of confluence, EMAs? And was that one of your setups? So, is it something that you've done before that has consistent results? Not consistently? Cool. So, what I would say if I were you, if there's a setup or something that you're is this a paper trading or live trading? Live trading? Cool. So this is what I would do if I was in your shoes. If I am trading a setup and it's not consistent, I would not be using real money at all, because it doesn't make sense to use real money on something that isn't consistent to make money while it's consistent losing money. That's one part. Second part is, how long have you been trading for? $3 months? Cool. So, as a relatively new trader, you should not be using real money at all until you gain consistency. Because to me, it doesn't make sense to waste money while you're still learning. Do you journal at all? Do you journal your trades? So, if I asked you, what is the win rate of your specific setup, and on average, how many times does it print in a week? And what time frame does it usually work best to draw the fibs on? Can you answer those questions? You were previously just trading equity, and your win rate has been in the negative since you mainly trade SPY. Well, the feedback that I would give you is go back to paper trading until you achieve consistency, because it doesn't matter if you trade shares, it doesn't matter if you trade options, futures, etc. If you're not consistent or have something that's working, you should not be using real money. I know some of the individuals on the internet, even though I'm on the internet as well, would probably say that you should definitely use real money because your emotions and blah, blah, blah. I am highly against that because being, I guess you can say like a mindset coach or a trader coach or what have you, I've seen the damage that losing money can do before you're consistent, and those are way harder to fix than just getting a proper strategy working. So I would highly, even though I can't advise, if I were in your shoes, I would highly avoid using real money until you're consistent. Because to me, sure, your emotions are in the mix now because it's real money, but it doesn't really matter because you don't even have a consistent strategy. Because if you're losing in an inconsistent strategy and then you're getting frustrated because of that, to me, the emotions aren't really valid. Well, they're valid, but hopefully this is making sense in how I'm going to explain it. But if you have a consistent strategy and then you're using live money and then your emotions pop up, we can kind of get towards the bottom of, what needs to be worked on and what needs to be fixed, right? But if you have an inconsistent strategy and using real money and you're getting emotional, it's like, all right, sure, you're probably frustrated because you're losing. Who isn't? But it's like, what can we really get from that on the emotional side when you don't even have a proper working strategy yet, if that makes any sense at all? Hopefully it did. But anyway, if I were you, or if I were in your shoes, I would go back to paper, keep on refining your setups and your strategy, whatever that may be. If you want a simple one, you can definitely go on to my YouTube channel, search up the strat. I have an entire playlist of the strat by Rob Smith that you can check out. It's the easiest strategy of all time. You can add fibs to it after you learn the basics if you want to. But personally, if you're a new trader, in my opinion, you shouldn't be using EMAs because you should really be studying price action and understanding how to read charts properly before adding in EMAs, because price action comes first and then the EMAs follow. So it only makes sense, in my opinion, to be proficient at price action, and then you can add other things that can potentially give you more confluence. So hopefully that helps. Definitely get back into the lab, paper trade. And I also have a video on options if you don't fully understand it. That way you can just refine your trades a little better. But yeah, definitely paper trade until you see consistency. And then you can go back into your, using live money. That's what I would do. Absolutely. We have these trade recaps every 2 weeks. So pass by in 2 weeks. So we'll see where you're at and we'll go from there. But thanks for sharing your trade. And remember, you guys can share whatever trade you want. I don't care if you win. I don't care if you lose. That's not really the problem, or that's not really a problem, winning or losing. I just kind of want to see where you're at with your trades and why you're making the decisions that you're making. That way I can kind of give you better feedback. So win or lose, doesn't matter. I lose trades. We all do. Perfectly normal. So cool. For those who did come in a little late, put your chats in the chat or put your trades in the chat. I can't even speak anymore. Put your trades in the chat so I can review them for you. It could be options, futures, equity, or stocks, crypto, Forex, doesn't matter. And with any trades that you give me, just give me as much information as you can. When you got in, when you got out, whether you were long, short, it was calls, puts, what have you, and where your target and stop loss was. Welcome, Billy. Any trade you want me to look at, put it in the chat, and I'll go over it with you. You're good today? Yeah, we went over your trades earlier. It was good stuff. Jesus, I'm blinded. There we go. I'll stick around for 4 more minutes. If there aren't any more trades, we will wrap up and enjoy our Friday. Coin getting obliterated. Classic. Inside bar on the day. Maybe a weird looking W on the 4 hour. Looks like it triggered today, actually, but it gapped up. Maybe get a continuation on Monday, assuming Bitcoin is alive. If not, we're probably going to H back down. Welcome for those coming in on YouTube. Put your trades in the chat so I can review them. Win or lose, doesn't matter. What's the VIX at? I think the VIX is coming down near 20 bucks. Ooh. Very nice. I can breathe soon. Forgot to send an alert here. Oof, gold, new all-time high. With a doji on top? Maybe we get a W retracement to the downside. Maybe pull back to 49. I just not comfortable shorting that huge candle like right there. $61 fib matches with the center. Should be an interesting next week for gold. Palantir monthly 2 down. You entered on Monday. The 2-day? Oh no, monthly 2 down. Whoops. I hope you made some money for me because I definitely forgot to short Palantir all the way at $110 when I had the setup. And then I checked my chart and it's at $85. I'm like, all right, got to set those alerts. Did it stop you out for the Palantir trade? You entered at 80.70, so a little higher. So around here, I'm assuming you're probably aiming for the previous month lows. This was Monday. Hold on, where was the trigger? So this is the trigger price, 78.47. Yeah, Monday triggered you in. Yeah, weekly triggered short as well, but we have a failed 2 down. I pray that this setup is in your favor to at least hit one of your targets. Failed 2 down on the week, not my favorite. Still got a lot more time. What price do you have your stop loss at? Yeah, the weekly low. So yeah, you're aiming for this at 62. 15 points. ATR is about 7.5. That can be hit in 2 days, assuming it goes straight down. Where's your stop loss? What price? Also, for those on YouTube, hit the like button or the thumbs up button. I need 50% participation before I continue. It hit my targets overnight, but market opened the next day. It lost the momentum. Gotcha. You're still in that trade? Ooh, you're down 50% and you chose next week expiration. You are a brave individual. If I'm taking a trade off a monthly setup, I am not getting weekly contracts. I'm getting at least 645 to 60 days out because you don't really have time anymore to recover, right? 81. Wait. 81 is your stop loss. So 81 is your stop loss. The price is $86. My question for you is why you're still in that trade. It doesn't sound like that plan is still valid if it held overnight, which it definitely did not. Looks like it's a losing position by 5 points. So first question, why are you still in the trade when it's gone past your stop loss by 5 points? And you have the 321 expiration. What strike price? I want to see the contract Greeks. Ooh, I love that answer. I'm going to give you a better one. What strike price did you choose? I want to bring up the chain and see the details of it. Shout out NVIDIA, $121 right now. Crazy stuff. Should have held it a little longer once I bought a bunch at 104 or 103. Let's see, 70 strike price. Good old Palantir. I remember when it was $7 and I didn't buy, or I think I had like 200 shares at $19. But it's hindsight 2020. It is what it is. All right, so you got next week expiration, 70 strike. So the current premium is $27, $26 at the mid price. The theta is $8. So if Palantir opens at the exact same price that it opens up now, that contract's probably going to be worth $7 to $8 if my math doesn't suck. Actually, no, like $10 to $11. And if it gaps up by a point or two, that contract's going to be worth like $1 to $5. So pretty much the position is going to be obliterated. Cool. So my feedback for you is every trade is different. We should never, ever mix two trades together. Whether one trade made a lot of money and one lost, and you want to hold on to a loser because the other one made you money that would cover the loss of this one if you basically gamble it now. To me, that's unacceptable because, one, that's a bad habit to build. Because let's say if this does work out in your favor, which would actually be bad, what's going to happen is you're going to train your brain to think that bad habits are good because you're getting rewarded for it, which is not sustainable, right? So what you don't want is to be like, well, this other trade made me money, so I can hold on to this loser even longer because the other one made me money. You're willingly giving up money that you made because you don't want to cut a losing trade. This trade is bad by 5 points. If your stop loss is $81, your stop loss is $81, and that's it. Nothing else to add to that. So